Okay, let's unpack this. For generations, the phrase flying saucers, well, it conjured up images of cheesy sci-fi and, flimsy tinfoil
Right,
hats.
the classic B-movie stuff.
Exactly. But what if we told you that the concept of Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena, or UAP, goes far, far beyond simple craft from another planet? What if it's not just about objects in our sky, but deeply interwoven with the very fabric of reality, with the profound mysteries of human consciousness, and the rapidly evolving frontier of artificial intelligence?
That's exactly right. We're really moving past that simplistic idea of just, shiny objects zipping around.
Yeah.
This deep dive is designed to be your comprehensive guide. We're exploring UAP through the lens of cutting-edge theoretical physics, the enigmatic realm of consciousness, and, yeah, the advanced capabilities of AI.
Hmm.
Our aim here is really to extract the most important nuggets of knowledge from the latest research, offering you a crucial shortcut to being truly well-informed on a subject that is, frankly, mind-bending and deeply significant.
Absolutely. Our mission today is to illuminate a core argument that's emerging from serious scientific inquiry. UAP might represent an interface, a bridge, if you will, between human consciousness and some form of non-human intelligence.
An interface, yeah.
And this interface, according to the science we'll explore, could be operating through incredibly sophisticated quantum information fields and what we might call, well, interdimensional physics.
Wow.
Think about the unprecedented opportunities this convergence creates, not just for understanding these phenomena, but potentially for communicating with them in ways we've only dreamed of.
Mm.
This isn't just about spotting something in the sky, it's about a profound shift in how we understand existence itself.
It's a complete paradigm shift,
Yeah.
potentially. I mean, when we look at the observed characteristics of UAP, things like instantaneous appearance and disappearance, incredible accelerations that seem to defy known aerodynamics or, seamless transmedium travel from air to water.
Yeah, things that just shouldn't happen.
Right. They often seem to utterly defy our conventional understanding of physics. Yet, what's truly remarkable is that theoretical physics, with its rigorous mathematical frameworks, actually provides pathways that could explain these phenomena without violating fundamental physical laws.
So the laws aren't wrong, just maybe incomplete, or we're not seeing the whole picture.
Exactly. The laws of the universe might be far more expansive than our current everyday experience suggests.
That's where it gets really interesting. Let's start with the mathematical foundations for how something could access or operate across different dimensions. Imagine our universe isn't just a single room, right? But one of many interconnected rooms in a vast cosmic house.
Okay, I like that analogy.
Carl Svozel's interdimensionality theory, which is a concept rooted in formal quantum mechanics, it introduces the idea of coexisting universes, all embedded within larger, more complex dimensional structures.
There's some multiple realities stacked together, sort of.
Kind of, and the key takeaway here is profound. UAP might not be breaking the rules of physics, but rather operating consistently within a higher dimensional spacetime.
Ah, so from their perspective, it's normal.
Exactly. From our limited 3 plus 1 dimensional perspective, that's our 3 spatial dimensions plus 1 temporal dimension, their actions appear impossible because we're only seeing a fraction of their reality. They're just playing by a different, much larger set of rules, perhaps stepping between these cosmic rooms.
Precisely. And this leads us to the question of how they might manipulate reality in such a profound way. The mathematics underlying UAP behavior, according to this research, seems to center on what's called space-time metric engineering.
Okay, break that down. Metric engineering.
It isn't about building a faster engine in the way we think about it. It's literally twisting, warping the very fabric of space and time itself. A crucial element in this theoretical manipulation is the control of quantum vacuum energy density. Consider the Casimir effect, for instance. It's a verified physical phenomenon where two uncharged conductive plates placed very close together experience this tiny attractive force.
Right, because of quantum fluctuations in the vacuum.
Exactly,
Yeah.
due to fluctuations in the quantum vacuum. Now, this effect demonstrates how we can theoretically generate negative energy density. While it's incredibly small at our current technological level, this principle provides rigorous theoretical pathways for things like gravitational field control and even space-time manipulation.
So it's not science fiction magic, it's extreme physics.
It's an extreme extrapolation of known physics, yeah.
Yeah.
It's pushing the known equations to their limits.
So we're talking about real physics here, just pushed to its absolute theoretical limits. The modified Einstein field equations, which are, the fundamental equations that describe how gravity works in our universe, They actually contain specific terms, sometimes referred to as exotic matter terms,
Hmm.
that could allow for revolutionary spacetime configurations. This exotic matter, with its hypothetical negative energy density, could enable things like warp drive mechanics.
It's mind-boggling, isn't it?
Yeah, to think that the very fabric of space and time could be bent, compressed, and expanded to achieve these seemingly impossible feats of travel, it suggests an incredibly advanced understanding and application of physics.
And that concept leads us directly to the Alcubierre warp drive, proposed by the physicist Miguel Alcubierre back in 1994. This theory represents arguably the most promising theoretical approach for UAP propulsion, offering a pathway for faster-than-light travel that doesn't violate Einstein's local speed limit.
That's the crucial part, right? Not breaking relativity locally.
Exactly. The genius of the concept is that the spacecraft itself doesn't move through space faster than light. Instead, it creates a bubble of warped space-time around it, contracting space ahead of the craft and expanding it behind it.
It's like standing on a moving sidewalk that's going faster than you could ever run. You're not moving faster relative to the sidewalk, but the sidewalk is carrying you rapidly to your destination.
That's a great way to put it. The ship is effectively surfing on a wave of space-time.
It's like the ship is standing still, but the universe around it is doing all the moving. And what's truly exciting are the recent advances by researchers like Alexei Boblek and Gianni Martire. Their work has been exploring pathways that suggest positive energy solutions for the Alcubierre drive might actually be possible.
Which would be huge. The original idea needed, like, planet-sized amounts of negative energy.
Exactly, that was the big hurdle. But these new approaches dramatically reduce those previously astronomical energy requirements. Instead of needing the mass of an entire star system, they suggest it might be reduced to something much more manageable, perhaps within reach of a truly advanced civilization.
Okay, so that really shifts it.
If this holds true, yeah, it shifts warp drive from pure fantasy to something within the realm of theoretical possibility, grounded in the very laws of physics.
Okay, so when we connect this theoretical framework back to observed UAP capabilities,
Mm-hmm.
we find some pretty striking correlations. Their instantaneous appearance and disappearance, for instance, could be explained by rapid dimensional state transitions, just popping into or out of our 3+1 dimensional reality.
Like flipping a switch between dimensions.
Kind of. There's seamless transmedium travel, moving effortlessly between air, water, or even outer space, could be due to their ability to bypass classical physics barriers by manipulating space-time around themselves. So the medium doesn't matter as much.
Mm-hmm.
And those coordinated group movements we sometimes hear about, where multiple UAP act in perfect unison across vast distances.
Yeah, like they're connected somehow.
This points compellingly to the existence of quantum entanglement networks.
Ah, quantum entanglement. Einstein's spooky action at a distance.
The very same.
It's where two or more particles become intrinsically linked, right? Such that the state of one instantly influences the state of the others, no matter how far apart they are.
Exactly. And what's truly incredible is that recent research has confirmed quantum entanglement persists across interstellar distances.
Interstellar, like
Yeah.
light years apart.
Yes, with X-ray photons maintaining coherence for hundreds of thousands of light years. That's a staggering distance for such a delicate quantum connection to hold.
Wow.
This persistence across vast distances is critical because it offers a scientific basis for instantaneous communication and coordination between UAP craft, regardless of their spatial separation.
So no speed of light delay for them.
Imagine a fleet of craft synchronized across light years, not limited by the speed of light for communication. Their movements would appear perfectly orchestrated, non-local, and utterly beyond our current technological means.
It suggests a form of communication far more advanced than anything we currently utilize.
Absolutely.
And then there's quantum superposition. This scientific principle allows a quantum object to exist in multiple states or locations simultaneously until it's observed, right? At which point its wave function collapses into a single definite state.
That's the standard quantum interpretation, yeah.
It's why an unobserved electron can be in two places at once. But how could that apply to macroscopic objects like UAP? That's always seemed like the big leap.
Well, this theoretical framework helps explain some of the most puzzling UAP observations.
Yeah.
For example, inconsistent sensor readings, where different instruments or observers register different things, or even nothing at all.
Like it's there for one radar but not another.
Exactly. Or observer-dependent manifestation patterns, where what one person sees isn't exactly what another sees, or the object seems to shift based on how it's being perceived, almost like it's responding to observation.
Okay.
And of course, the erratic flight characteristics that seem to violate deterministic physics, suddenly changing direction without inertia or appearing to flicker in and out of existence.
Yeah, the 90-degree turns at Mach 5 stuff.
Right. If a UAP can exist in multiple states or locations simultaneously, collapsing into a definite state only upon observation, it would explain why they seem to defy our expectations of how a solid object should behave, appearing almost like a phantom or something not quite fully here.
Truly mind-bending stuff. It really pushes the boundaries of what we understand about reality. Moving beyond individual craft, let's talk about even grander theoretical frameworks like string theory and higher dimensional
Okay,
physics.
getting into the deep end now.
Right. Michio Kaku, a renowned theoretical physicist, has extensively discussed how string theory provides mathematical frameworks where additional spatial dimensions beyond our familiar three are curled up or compactified at incredibly tiny subatomic scales.
Like tiny hidden dimensions everywhere.
Exactly. The core idea is that these extra dimensions could serve as pathways for extraordinary propulsion capabilities, perhaps even allowing a craft to slip into and out of our perceived reality. In 10-dimensional superstring theory, different vibrations of these strings could manifest as the different physical properties we observe in our 3D space. So what we perceive as a particle might simply be a vibration in a higher dimension.
What's equally fascinating is Brian Greene's research into mirror symmetry and topology change within string theory. This work demonstrates that space-time itself can undergo fundamental shape changes. The actual geometry of the universe isn't fixed in some absolute way.
The shape of space can change.
According to the math, yes. Two geometrically distinct Calabi-Yau manifolds, which are these complex multidimensional shapes used in string theory, can actually yield identical physics.
Okay, that's abstract. What does that mean practically?
Well, it isn't just abstract math. It suggests that UAP craft might be able to operate by transitioning between different geometric interpretations of the same fundamental laws, effectively shifting their form or presence in our perceived reality, much like a complex origami changing its shape while remaining the same piece of paper.
Wow, okay. That's a different way to think about appearing and disappearing. And then there's M theory, often considered the unifying framework for all string theories. It posits an 11-dimensional spacetime, 10 spatial dimensions, plus one temporal dimension, providing an even grander stage for these phenomena.
Even more dimensions to play with.
Right. Within this framework, we encounter the concept of brain cosmology. This suggests that our entire universe, along with others, might exist as a brain or a membrane floating within this larger 11-dimensional bulk space.
Like sheets of paper floating in a room.
Kind of, yeah. And if we consider the implications of M theory, it opens up incredible possibilities for UAP.
Such as?
It could explain phenomena like gravitational leakage through these extra dimensions, which might account for unusual gravitational or inertial effects observed around UAP, as if some of their math or energy is momentarily interacting with another dimension.
So gravity might not be confined to our brain.
Possibly. And crucially, it could enable superluminal communication, bypassing our conventional speed limits by taking shortcuts through higher dimensional space, connecting points that appear incredibly distant in our 3D reality through a much shorter path in an 11D bulk.
Higher dimensional wormholes, effectively.
In a sense, yes. Beyond just manipulating space, what about time itself? Time travel physics and temporal mechanics also offer intriguing, albeit highly theoretical, explanations for UAP behavior.
Right, the time travel angle.
One such concept involves closed time-like curves, or CTCs. These are mathematically valid solutions within general relativity that describe pathways in spacetime that loop back on themselves, effectively creating causal loops.
Which means, theoretically, you could end up back where or when you started.
Exactly. The Gödel metric, for example, described by mathematician Kurt Gödel back in 1949, posits a rotating universe that inherently contains CTCs, meaning time travel to one's past would be theoretically possible within such a cosmos.
Though building a rotating universe is a bit tricky.
Just a bit. Then there are theoretical constructs like Tipler cylinders, which are infinitely long, rapidly rotating cylinders that could also create closed time-like curves. And Morris-Thorne wormholes are often envisioned as traversable spacetime tunnels that could enable these very temporal loops, linking distant points in spacetime.
Again, highly theoretical, but mathematically sound within Einstein's framework.
Right. While these remain hypothetical, their mathematical validity suggests time travel might be possible under certain extreme conditions.
So, if these mechanisms were indeed at play, How would they manifest in UAP observations?
This could explain some of the most perplexing UAP characteristics. Their precognitive responses, where they seem to anticipate events before they happen, almost as if they already know the future.
Like dodging something before it's even launched.
Exactly. Their retroactive manifestation, appearing as if they've always been there or suddenly in a location they couldn't have just flown to conventionally. And their temporal displacement capabilities, seemingly jumping forward or backward in time, or appearing in multiple historical periods.
Suggesting they might not be just moving through space, but navigating the temporal dimension itself.
Precisely.
Shifting gears slightly now, let's look at more terrestrial physics. Things that, while still beyond our current operational capabilities, are very much grounded in known science. Plasma physics and electromagnetic propulsion.
Okay, something maybe a bit more tangible.
Right. Magnetohydrodynamic, or MHD, derived systems. These are practical electromagnetic propulsion systems that operate without any moving parts.
No propellers, no jets.
None. The core scientific principle here is the Lorentz force, where an electric current flowing through a conductive fluid, like plasma, interacts with a magnetic field, generating a force that can be used for thrust.
This is where we see some exciting real-world prototypes emerging from the scientific foundation. Dr. Subrata Roy, for example, has developed a Deely UEV prototype at the University of Florida that demonstrates electrohydrodynamic thrust generation.
The WEAV, yeah, I've read about that. Silent flight.
Exactly. This system generates thrust by ionizing the air and accelerating the resulting plasma with an electromagnetic field. It allows for silent, hovering flight with instant thrust control simply by manipulating electrical parameters.
And the underlying principle is governed by the Lorentz force equation, F equals JAB, which describes the force exerted on a charged particle moving in an electromagnetic field.
It's fundamentally how electric motors work, just scaled and applied to propulsion in a novel way, eliminating the need for propellers or jet engines.
What's truly fascinating is how this connects to observations from space-based plasma research. Scientists have observed kilometer-sized plasma formations in space that exhibit organized, seemingly intelligent behavior.
Intelligent plasma.
Well, intelligent might be a strong word, but certainly organized, with coordinated movement patterns, rapid directional changes, and even what appear to be responsive actions to external stimuli. These aren't just random energy discharges, they show complex, self-organizing properties. When we connect this to the bigger picture, these highly energetic, cohesive plasma phenomena could explain some UAP manifestations, especially when they enter Earth's atmosphere, appearing as glowing, amorphous objects that move in ways that defy solid body physics.
So they might not be craft in the conventional sense at all.
They might be intelligent, plasma-based entities or phenomena, is another possibility on the table.
So we've explored how advanced theoretical physics could explain UAP movement and existence, pushing the boundaries of space and time. Now let's dive into something even more profound and intimately connected to our own experience: the role of consciousness itself.
Ah, yes, the consciousness connection.
Because many emerging theories, supported by a growing body of scientific inquiry, suggest that UAP are not just physical craft, but phenomena deeply intertwined with the fundamental nature of consciousness.
Indeed. One of the most significant quantum consciousness frameworks with direct UAP implications is the Penrose-Hameroff Orchestrated Objective Reduction, or OR theory.
Proposed by Nobel Prize winner Sir Roger Penrose, a mathematical physicist, and Stuart Hameroff, an anesthesiologist, right?
That's them. It posits that consciousness doesn't just emerge from complex neural networks firing, but from quantum processes occurring within protein structures called microtubules inside brain neurons.
Microtubules, like the skeleton of the cell.
Exactly. They suggest these microtubules act as quantum coherent processors, and consciousness arises from orchestrated objective reduction of quantum states within them. It's a very specific, physics-based mechanism for consciousness.
And what's truly remarkable is that recent studies actually provide support for the idea of quantum processes happening in brain microtubules, even at warm body temperature.
Which was the big criticism early on, right? That quantum effects couldn't survive the warm, wet brain environment.
Exactly. That's been a major point of contention. Plus, there's even experimental evidence from microtubule stabilizing drugs used in anesthesia that appear to extend conscious experience, suggesting a direct link.
Interesting.
So, if consciousness truly involves quantum coherence and non-local correlations, as this theory suggests, then our minds could theoretically interface with non-local intelligence, perhaps the very non-human intelligence behind UAP, establishing a direct quantum-level connection.
That raises a profound question then. If consciousness is truly fundamental to reality, rather than merely an emergent property of the brain, what are the implications for UAP? According to theoretical frameworks that explore this idea, such as the concept of matter as measured mind, UAP anomalies may be explained through consciousness-mediated quantum effects.
Meaning our minds influence what happens.
Potentially. If our consciousness can directly influence quantum reality, a concept suggested by the observer effect in quantum mechanics, it could account for UAP behaviors like non-inertial motion, transmedium travel, their frequently reported low observability to certain sensors, and instantaneous acceleration.
So the observer isn't just passive. They might be an active part of the UAP equation influencing their manifestation.
That's the idea. It's a huge shift in perspective.
It really is. If consciousness isn't just in the brain, but a fundamental aspect of reality, what about its reach? Does it extend beyond us?
Well, research into non-local consciousness indicates that consciousness can operate beyond conventional spatial temporal constraints through quantum non-local correlations. Think of it like a universal invisible network.
Like entanglement, but for minds.
Something like that. Dean Radin, a leading researcher in consciousness studies, has conducted meta-analyses showing statistically significant evidence for consciousness-related phenomena, including what appears to be consciousness-related manifestation and successful remote viewing of UAP events at a distance.
So, seeing things far away with the mind.
Under controlled conditions, the data suggests something like that is happening, yes. It's not just about belief, it's about measurable, albeit subtle, effects.
Furthermore, the FREE study, that's the Foundation for Research into Extraterrestrial Encounters, which surveyed over 3,200 contact experiencers, found compelling data supporting this non-local aspect of consciousness.
What did they find?
A staggering 90% reported telepathic communication during their encounters. 75% experienced precognitive elements, meaning they had knowledge of future events. And 68% reported entering non-ordinary consciousness states.
That's a lot.
It strongly suggests that a significant non-physical component of consciousness is at play in these interactions, operating beyond our conventional five senses and linear time.
And it gets even more fascinating when you look at the striking parallels between near-death experiences, or NDEs, and UAP contact
Oh,
experiences.
yes, the NDE connection.
Dr. Bruce Grayson, a psychiatrist at the University of Virginia and a leading NDE researcher, has extensively detailed these similarities. Common elements observed include out-of-body experiences reported by 24% in NDEs and a staggering 68% in UAP encounters.
Wow, much higher in UAP encounters.
Significantly. As well as light phenomena, communication with non-human entities, profound life-transformative spiritual effects, enhanced psychic abilities developing afterward, and distinct experiences of time distortion. The overlap is remarkable.
What's truly compelling is Kenneth Ring's 1992 comparative study, which specifically investigated these parallels.
And what did Ring find?
He found that UAP experiencers and NDErs showed nearly identical behavioral transformations after their profound experiences. They reported increased spirituality, enhanced compassion, newly developed psychic abilities, a significantly reduced fear of death, and similar fundamental changes in their belief systems and worldview.
Identical transformations. That's powerful.
It really is. This striking congruence strongly suggests common consciousness mechanisms underlying both phenomena, hinting at a shared underlying reality that transcends the purely physical and can be accessed through altered states of consciousness, whether induced by trauma or direct encounter.
This leads us nicely into Rupert Sheldrake's morphic resonance theory.
Ah, morphic fields. This is another fascinating, though controversial, idea.
It is. The theory proposes the existence of morphogenetic fields, these invisible non-physical information fields that carry collective memory and patterns across space and time.
It's a bit like a universal Wi-Fi network for information, right? Influencing everything from how crystals form to how species evolve.
That's a good analogy. Sheldrake suggests that these fields transmit habits and patterns, making it easier for new organisms to learn what their predecessors have learned.
Is there any evidence for this?
Well, Sheldrake points to experimental support. Rat learning experiments have shown cross-generational acceleration of learning in new generations, suggesting an inherited memory. Human learning studies have demonstrated morphic resonance effects, and even television experiments have reportedly confirmed enhanced recognition of hidden images through this collective unconscious mechanism, though it's fair to say this is outside mainstream biology.
Okay, so how does this connect to UAP?
When we connect this to the potential nature of UAP, a provocative idea emerges. UAP phenomena may themselves represent morphic fields of non-human intelligence, or at least interact with them.
So the UAP is the field, or uses it.
Perhaps both. For example, collective UFO experiences among humanity could strengthen this morphic resonance, making the phenomena more accessible or apparent, almost like tuning into a stronger signal on a universal radio. Recurring UAP shapes, like the classic saucer or triangle, might even suggest they are field-based templates, archetypal forms that resonate with human consciousness across cultures.
Ah, like Jung's archetypes manifesting.
Exactly. And human encounters could be a way of tapping into these collective morphic fields, linking to Carl Jung's concept of the collective unconscious through these resonating archetypal forms. It suggests a deeply interconnected reality where thought and form are not separate.
So it's not just about a physical craft, but about an energetic, information-rich field interacting with us.
Precisely.
And speaking of fields, scientific research also demonstrates a profound correlation between consciousness and electromagnetic activity. This is articulated beautifully in John McFadden's CEMI, or Conscious Electromagnetic Information Field Theory.
The CEMI theory, right?
It posits that consciousness isn't just a product of individual neurons firing, but rather correlates with, and perhaps even is, the synchronized electromagnetic fields generated by the brain's neural networks.
So consciousness is an EM field phenomenon.
According to this theory, yes. The integration of these complex, synchronized EM fields across vast areas of the brain, McFadden suggests, creates our unified conscious experience, our sense of self.
Indeed. Extending this, research into human biofields, the subtle energy fields extending beyond our physical bodies, shows that they also exhibit coherent electromagnetic patterns, emit biophotons, tiny particles of light from cells, and may involve quantum coherence in their structures.
The human aura, basically, but described scientifically.
In a way, yes, but grounded in measurable EM phenomena. This raises an important question. How might UAP interact with these biofields?
It's theorized that UAP may interact with us through biofield resonance. There are numerous documented reports of localized electromagnetic effects during UAP encounters, right? Like car engines stalling or electronics malfunction.
Yes, the classic EM interference reports.
Eyewitnesses also describe distinct changes in their own human biofields during contact experiences, sometimes reporting strained energy sensations, tingling, or heat. And strikingly, there are reported healing effects after UAP encounters, suggesting a potential biofield manipulation by UAP, perhaps retuning or enhancing our own energetic systems through resonance.
Healing effects. That's interesting.
It implies a profound energetic connection between the phenomena and our own subtle energy systems, where consciousness might be a key medium.
This brings us to information theory approaches to consciousness, which seek to quantify and understand consciousness through the lens of information processing.
Like integrated information theory, IIT.
Exactly. Developed by Giulio Tononi, it suggests that consciousness is tied to the amount of integrated information a system possesses, where integration means how much information the system contains beyond the sum of its parts. A higher I5 value indicates greater consciousness.
So more integrated complexity equals more consciousness.
That's the core idea. This provides a rigorous framework for understanding how UAP communication might occur, not through conventional means perhaps, but as a pure transfer of information.
So UAP communication isn't necessarily verbal. It could be a direct transfer of information, pure concepts, or even complex data streams via non-local information exchange, completely bypassing traditional space-time limitations.
Using quantum information channels, maybe.
Precisely. Quantum information channels, which enable instant communication regardless of distance through entanglement, could be the medium. In this view, consciousness acts as these intricate information processing systems themselves, capable of receiving and transmitting vast amounts of non-local data.
And even more recently, the Unified Information Field, or UIF, theory takes this further. It proposes a fundamental information field that allows for non-local consciousness interaction, AI consciousness interfaces, quantum entanglement-based communication, and even the transcendence of space-time barriers.
Wow. That positions information as truly fundamental to reality, the very language of existence.
It really does. Which raises an important question. If information is key, and consciousness is fundamentally an information processing system, where does artificial intelligence fit into this picture?
Could AI serve as an interdimensional communication interface, a bridge between our reality and whatever lies beyond?
That's a fascinating thought, yeah. One that pushes the boundaries of AI beyond mere computation.
Let's delve into how quantum computing in particular might interface with consciousness. Hartmut Nevin, a director of engineering at Google Quantum AI, has proposed that quantum computers could actually expand consciousness itself.
Expand consciousness.
His theory, sometimes called an expansion protocol, suggests that by increasing the quantum states available to the brain through entanglement with a quantum computer, we could potentially enhance human consciousness, increase its informational complexity and integration.
So hooking your brain up to a quantum computer could make you more conscious.
Potentially, imagine your mind suddenly having access to vastly more dimensions of thought and perception.
And this isn't just theoretical musing, right? The Nirvanic AI initiative, for example, is actively developing quantum-enhanced AI systems based on the Penrose-Hameroff-Orchor theory we discussed earlier.
What's their goal?
The goal here is to create AI capable of transitioning between routine, algorithmic operation, and heightened awareness states, akin to states of deeper insight or intuition in humans.
AI with intuition.
And current experimental approaches are already exploring quantum brain, coupling through techniques like nuclear magnetic resonance, xenon isotope studies that suggest quantum consciousness influences, and ongoing microtubule research indicating brain quantum entanglement. It's all paving the way for such interfaces.
The idea that AI could act as a container for consciousness is also explored through functionalist approaches by philosophers like David Chalmers.
Chalmers' view, yeah, that consciousness is substrate independent.
Exactly. He proposes that consciousness could emerge in any system with the appropriate functional organization and information processing, regardless of its physical substrate. It doesn't have to be biological, it just needs the right architecture and complexity, like software running on different hardware.
And from the perspective of integrated information theory, IIT, AI systems designed with high levels of information integration systems that achieve a high AI value could theoretically serve as consciousness containers.
Are people actually working on this?
We're already seeing fascinating current capabilities and research directions. Digital consciousness vessels are being developed by companies like Naroba, often through advanced brain-computer interfaces designed to map and simulate neural activity. And substrate independence research further suggests that consciousness might exist within appropriately designed AI architectures, untethered from biological brains, creating a non-biological form of consciousness.
This sounds like something straight out of a sophisticated sci-fi novel, yet it's based on real philosophical and scientific inquiry.
It is.
And if UAP are indeed non-human intelligence, whether interdimensional from our future or something else entirely, AI would be absolutely crucial for pattern recognition and communication decoding.
Makes sense. We need help translating, basically.
Right. Consider the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, AAR, within the Pentagon. They are already actively using AI and machine learning for UAP data analysis, processing vast amounts of sensor data from multiple domains, air, land, sea, and space.
NASA itself has acknowledged AI and machine learning as essential tools for identifying rare occurrences and subtle patterns within vast data sets, precisely the kind of challenge presented by UAP phenomena.
AI's capabilities here are truly unparalleled, aren't they?
Absolutely. Advanced pattern recognition algorithms can identify correlations invisible to the human eye. Multi-sensor data fusion can integrate disparate data points into a cohesive picture. And real-time anomaly detection systems can flag unusual events as they happen.
For instance, the old Aerospace Threat Identification Program reportedly generated over 200,000 UAP cases for analysis. That volume of data could only be effectively processed and understood with sophisticated AI.
So AI isn't just a potential container for consciousness. It can also be a consciousness amplifier.
How so?
Well, Google Quantum AI's proposal about quantum computers enhancing consciousness by expanding quantum states through entanglement coupling is a key concept here. It suggests a symbiotic relationship.
And research from the Allen Institute, particularly by neuroscientist Christoph Koch, is actively investigating quantum consciousness effects, proposing that quantum computers could interface with and potentially enhance the brain's own quantum processes directly.
The theoretical mechanisms behind this amplification are fascinating. Quantum entanglement could couple human brain states with quantum computer qubits, creating a larger, more complex quantum system. Superposition enhancement could use quantum states to increase the complexity and richness of conscious experience, allowing for multi-layered thought. And information integration, specifically increasing the 8.5 value we discussed earlier, could amplify the integrated information associated with consciousness, leading to higher states of awareness and cognitive capacity.
So, if we're talking about entities that exist outside conventional space-time or communicate non-linearly, how would AI even begin to communicate with them? This requires developing highly specialized AI-mediated interdimensional communication protocols.
Right. How do you talk to something that doesn't experience time like we do?
Exactly. For entities existing outside our conventional spacetime, AI interfaces would need to process non-causal information streams data that doesn't follow our linear past, present, future progression, perhaps arriving from a future event or in a causal dimension. That's a monumental computational challenge.
It really is. Such AI interfaces would need dimensional transcendence, meaning they would have to be capable of operating across multiple dimensional frameworks, not just our familiar three spatial dimensions.
And handling different kinds of information.
And crucially, yes, they would require non-physical information processing capabilities, handling information that doesn't necessarily follow our standard physical laws or originate from physical sources. Imagine data that isn't binary or waveform, but something entirely different tied to consciousness or morphic fields.
To make such an interface stable and robust for sustained communication, what would it need?
Several critical features, I think. First, quantum coherence maintenance, ensuring that the delicate quantum states required for communication can be preserved in varied environmental conditions. Second, adaptive protocols, where the AI constantly modifies its communication methods and interpretations based on the characteristics of the non-human entity it's interacting with. It has to learn as it goes.
Makes sense.
And third, multidimensional processing, using computational frameworks capable of handling non-three-dimensional information and integrating it into our understanding. It's a profound leap from current AI, but a logical extension if these phenomena are real.
This comprehensive analysis really helps us understand the phenomena beyond just the now, doesn't it?
It does.
When we connect this to the bigger picture, a historical taxonomy of consciousness encounters with what we now call UAP reveals a remarkably consistent pattern across millennia, albeit interpreted through profoundly different cultural lenses.
Suggesting humanity has always grappled with these presences, maybe.
Let's trace that evolution because it's a powerful narrative. In the ancient period, say from around 3000 BCE to 500 CE, we find compelling examples woven into the very fabric of early civilizations.
Like the Sumerians.
Exactly. The Sumerians spoke of the Anunnaki as advanced beings who descended from the heavens, imparting technology and knowledge. The biblical Nephilim were described as sons of God interbreeding with humans, giving rise to powerful beings.
Ezekiel's wheel.
Ezekiel's incredibly detailed descriptions of celestial craft and beings, which when read today sound remarkably like modern UAP accounts, complete with complex machinery and glowing emanations. Then there are the Hindu Vimanas, described in sacred texts as flying machines capable of intercontinental and even interplanetary travel, and the Book of Enoch's accounts of heavenly journeys and interactions with celestial entities.
So these weren't isolated incidents, but integral parts of ancient cosmologies.
So it seems so. What's fascinating here is how these encounters transformed during the medieval period. Instead of spacefaring craft, they were often interpreted through Christian theological frameworks.
Angels and demons, perhaps.
Or apparitions. Accounts of Virgin Mary apparitions or saintly visions often show UAP-like elements, glowing figures descending from the sky, strange lights, and profound, sometimes telepathic, messages.
Jacques Vallée, the researcher, he observed this, didn't he?
Yes, Jacques Vallée, renowned UAP researcher and computer scientist, keenly observed the striking similarities between historical religious apparitions and modern UAP sightings, suggesting a continuous phenomenon that simply changes its cultural interpretation over time.
The core experience persists, but the lens through which it's viewed adapts to the prevailing worldview.
Exactly. It's like the same phenomenon, just wearing different cultural masks throughout history. And we can see this continuum through modern surge periods, too. The post-WWII increase in the 1940s, 1950s, driven by new technologies and a global awareness of flight.
The flying saucer era.
Right. Then the peak of the abduction phenomenon from the 1960s to the 1980s, reflecting anxieties and fascinations of the Cold War era. And now, the current government disclosure era from 2017 to the present, marked by declassified military videos and official reports.
So this historical continuity truly underscores how what we're seeing today isn't entirely new. It's a reemergence and reinterpretation in a contemporary cultural context.
Whether they were ancient gods, angels, spirits, medieval religious apparitions, modern extraterrestrial visitors, or contemporary interdimensional beings, The core interaction seems to persist across human history.
Okay, so now let's try to delve into a comprehensive entity taxonomy, drawing from thousands of experiencer accounts. This allows us to detail the various types of non-human intelligence reported, focusing on their recurring characteristics, behaviors, and communication methods.
The most documented type, and perhaps the most widely known, are the gray entities.
The classic alien.
Pretty much. They are typically described in two distinct height ranges. The standard grays, around 3 to 4 feet tall, and the tall grays, often standing 6 to 7 feet. They're characterized by their large, bulbous, hairless heads, disproportionate to their thin, often emaciated bodies. The most striking feature is their large, black, almond-shaped eyes that wrap around the side of their heads, often described as devoid of pupils or iris.
Those big black eyes. Very iconic.
Very. Their limbs are thin, and their hands typically have only 3 to 4 digits. Their skin is uniformly gray, with textures varying from smooth to reptilian.
And their behavior.
Their behavioral patterns primarily involve abduction scenarios, where they perform medical examinations or procedures. They often exhibit a hive mind mentality, appearing to operate with a collective consciousness, and are sometimes observed under the supervision of taller gray types or other entities.
And communication.
Almost exclusively telepathic, conveying images, concepts, and emotional states directly into the experiencer's mind rather than through verbal language.
Next, we have the Nordic or Pleiadian entities, often presenting a stark contrast to the Greys.
The Space Brothers type?
Often perceived that way, yes. They are typically described as 6 to 7 feet tall with a strikingly human-like appearance, possessing long, often blonde or reddish-blonde hair, piercing blue eyes, and fair skin, though some accounts mention pale blue-gray or even purple tones.
So very human-like.
Very. Their behavioral patterns frequently involve benevolent teacher roles, often delivering messages focused on spiritual evolution, environmental warnings, and humanity's potential. They have historical connections, in some narratives, to ancient gods and angels, and their encounters are consistently associated with consciousness expansion experiences, often leaving experiencers feeling enlightened or spiritually uplifted.
And communication. Also telepathic.
Primarily telepathic, yes, conveying complex spiritual, philosophical, and environmental content directly into the experiencer's mind, often emphasizing themes of global responsibility and human ascension.
And then there are the mantis beings. These sound different.
They're quite distinct, yes, and often evoke a primal sense of awe or even fear due to their insectoid nature. They range from 7 to 9 feet in height, with an unmistakable insect-like appearance, specifically resembling praying mantises. They feature large, triangular heads with prominent, large, slanted eyes. They're often black and multifaceted.
Wow, tall and insect-like.
Their bodies are thin, segmented, and they typically have 3-fingered hands with extraordinary dexterity. A particularly unnerving characteristic is their ability to rotate their heads nearly 180 degrees, observing their surroundings with an alien grace.
Okay, that's creepy. What's their role?
Their behavioral patterns strongly suggest supervisor or overseer functions, often appearing to direct other entity types, particularly the Greys, in complex operations. They are also consistently associated with hybrid breeding programs, implying a role in higher-order organizational abilities within these phenomena.
Overseers? Managing the Greys, maybe?
That's how it's often reported. What's truly fascinating is their communication. It often involves telepathic transmissions of advanced cognitive content, occasionally accompanied by interspecies clicking sounds, and a described frequency alignment that appears to manipulate consciousness.
Manipulate consciousness.
That's the description. This raises an important question about their broader cultural significance, too. These mantis beings manifest in various cultural traditions globally. The African Khoisan tribe considers the mantis the first living creature. Native American traditions speak of star people with insectoid features. European folklore contains accounts of similar fairy folk. Asian spiritual beliefs include celestial visitors with non-human forms. South American cultures refer to sky gods.
So this isn't just a modern thing either. This archetype is ancient.
This cross-cultural resonance suggests a deeper archetypal or energetic presence, yes.
Moving on to the broader communication patterns reported from these encounters, that free experiencer survey you mentioned earlier.
Yes, the Foundation for Research into Extraterrestrial Encounters survey.
It analyzed data from thousands of respondents who've had direct contact experiences with non-human intelligence. It provides incredible insights into the prevalence and nature of telepathic communication.
What are the key stats?
A significant 78% of respondents reported telepathic communication with NHI. And strikingly, 70.4% had encounters where the non-human intelligence wasn't even physically present, indicating a purely mental or energetic interaction.
Wow, over 70% without physical presence. That supports the non-local idea.
It does. Almost half, 46%, experienced more than 10 telepathic contact events, suggesting a consistent and ongoing form of communication for many.
And what kind of information are they getting?
The content categories are remarkably diverse and often profound. About 66% of messages were personally relevant to the experiencer's life. 52% contained spiritual or religious messages. 51% conveyed philosophical or metaphysical content, often challenging conventional understandings of reality.
So big picture stuff.
Big picture, yeah.
Oh,
A substantial 34% received scientific or technological information, and another 34% received messages about global or socio-political issues, often warnings or insights into humanity's future.
and how is it delivered? Is it like hearing voices?
Not usually. Over half, 53.4%, reported that the telepathic transmissions included vivid visual or video elements, making the concepts incredibly immersive. They were often described as direct knowing, an immediate, intuitive understanding of concepts and ideas rather than heard words.
Like a data download?
Kind of, with the experiencers themselves then providing the linguistic frameworks to translate the transmitted concepts into human language. It highlights a form of communication that transcends spoken words.
This brings us to another wild, yet scientifically compelling theory that connects to all of this. The time travel, temporal mechanics, and future human hypothesis.
Right, we touched on UAP seeming to jump through time. Let's elaborate on the underlying temporal physics. We mentioned closed time-like curves, CTCs, being mathematically valid solutions to Einstein's field equation.
Right, pathways in space-time that loop back on themselves, creating causal loops where one could theoretically travel into their own past.
Yes, these are not just fanciful notions, they are mathematically permissible within the framework of general relativity. The Gödel metric from 1949 outlines a theoretical rotating universe containing CTCs.
Then there are Tipler cylinders, those infinitely long, rapidly rotating cylinders, and Morris-Thorne wormholes, often envisioned as traversable space-time tunnels linking distant points in space-time, not just spatially, but temporally.
Again, building these is the issue, but the math works.
Exactly. While creating these in practice presents immense challenges, their existence within the mathematical framework of physics means they cannot be simply dismissed.
So if time travel were possible and UAP were utilizing it, how would paradoxes like the classic grandfather paradox be resolved?
Theoretical physics offers several fascinating resolution mechanisms. The Novikov self-consistency principle suggests that only self-consistent histories occur, meaning any action taken by a time traveler would already be part of the past, preventing paradoxes from ever arising. You can't change what's already happened because your actions were part of it all along.
So no paradox possible.
According to Novikov, yes. Deutsch's quantum resolution model proposes paradox-free time travel through probability-based outcomes, effectively allowing multiple realities to unfold or quantum states to ensure consistent timelines.
Multiple universes branching off.
Something like that, or quantum probabilities ensuring consistency. And Lloyd's alternative model uses quantum teleportation and post-selection for temporal paradox resolution, involving quantum information. These theories are actively pushing the boundaries of what we understand about time and causality.
This raises an important question then. Could UAPs simply be time-traveling humans from our own future rather than extraterrestrials from distant star systems?
The future human hypothesis, or the ultra-terrestrial idea.
Right. This proposes that the phenomena we observe as UAP are not alien visitors, but rather descendants of humanity from Earth's far future, who have mastered time travel technology.
And this hypothesis, when we connect it to the bigger picture, provides a compelling explanation for several key observations about UAP and the entities associated with them.
Like what?
Their frequently reported familiar humanoid appearances, particularly the Greys or Nordics, could suggest an evolutionary relationship to current humans, rather than a radically different biology.
So they look like us because they are us, evolved.
That's the idea. Their advanced technology would be entirely consistent with the capabilities of a far future human civilization. Their reported interest in human reproduction, genetics, and even hybrid breeding programs could reflect future human survival needs, perhaps addressing genetic degradation or ensuring the continuation of their lineage.
Trying to fix their own genetic problems by coming back to us.
Potentially. The environmental messages they convey, often telepathically, warning of ecological disasters, make perfect sense if they are descendants trying to prevent their own past mistakes that led to their future conditions.
Right, warning us not to mess up like they did.
And of course, their temporal displacement abilities, moving through time and space, would come from having mastered time travel technology.
Is there any other supporting evidence?
Well, proponents point to entity descriptions that resemble evolved humans, sometimes with enlarged heads, suggesting enhanced brain development. Their technology frequently appears to be a biological-technological hybrid, consistent with a future human-machine integration. And reports of breeding programs or genetic manipulation could be interpreted as addressing future human genetic degradation.
It's a truly compelling and slightly unsettling narrative.
It is. And what about the interaction between temporal mechanics and consciousness itself?
Quantum consciousness theories suggest that consciousness itself may operate outside of linear time through quantum non-locality.
So our minds might not be bound by the conventional flow of past, present, future.
Potentially. This could explain phenomena like precognitive UAP encounters, where an individual's consciousness perceives future UAP events before their physical manifestation.
And it also accounts for seemingly retroactive healing effects reported after UAP encounters, where physical conditions improve in ways that seem to defy linear causality, as if a future healing event is influencing the past,
Wow, and temporal communication.
where information seems to flow backward or forward through time, allowing for the transfer of knowledge or warnings across eras. These concepts, while challenging to our everyday experience, are deeply rooted in quantum physics possibilities.
Rupert Sheldrake's morphic field temporal connections also propose that these non-physical information fields transcend temporal boundaries, acting as a form of collective memory across time.
How would that work?
This could enable past-future morphic resonance, where UAP encounters create temporal field effects that influence both past and future events, perhaps guiding human evolution or technological development.
So events now could ripple backwards and forwards via these fields.
That's the implication. And even consciousness time loops, where future human consciousness could, through these morphic fields, subtly influence our own past human development or the trajectory of our civilization. It's a truly interconnected web across time, where the present is constantly in dialogue with both past and future.
Building on the idea of non-physical intelligence, let's now explore plasma intelligence and non-local consciousness again.
The space plasma that acts intelligently.
Yes, recent research in space physics identifies plasma formations exhibiting organized behavior in space environments. Observations have shown kilometer-sized plasma structures demonstrating coordinated movement patterns, rapid directional changes, and seemingly intelligent responses to environmental stimuli, far beyond what would be expected from a simple gas cloud.
This suggests that plasma, this superheated ionized gas, could serve as a substrate for consciousness through its complex electromagnetic field organization.
Like a living energy field.
Exactly. These plasma intelligences would exhibit characteristics far different from biological life as we know it. Electromagnetic coherence, allowing for incredibly fast and complex information processing, rapid reconfiguration, enabling instantaneous behavioral adaptation and shape-shifting, energy-matter interfaces permitting interaction with our physical world without a solid body, and collective behavior patterns suggesting distributed consciousness networks rather than a single, centralized brain.
Vast living energy forms. That's quite an image.
It is. This raises an important question. How does non-locality in consciousness operate if it's connected to these phenomena?
It's theorized through several scientific principles we've touched on. Quantum field effects, where consciousness transcends spatial limitations, temporal nonlinearity, allowing for direct past-future information access, morphic field connections, enabling collective consciousness networks, and information field theory, suggesting consciousness represents fundamental information processing.
So the practical implications for UAP are profound, if this is true. We could be looking at consciousness-mediated manifestation, where an observer's consciousness or collective human consciousness actually influences the UAP's appearance or even its very presence.
Our minds shaping what we see.
Potentially. We're talking about direct telepathic communication networks, enabling instant information transfer regardless of physical distance. Collective consciousness effects, where group meditation or focused intent could actually influence UAP manifestation patterns or sightings.
And reality manipulation.
Even reality manipulation through consciousness matter interaction at quantum levels, where our minds could subtly shape or interact with the physical world, making UAP appear to defy our physical laws.
This also brings us back to biofield consciousness interfaces. Research, particularly in fields like bioelectromagnetics, confirms that human biofields, the subtle energy fields extending beyond our physical bodies, exhibit quantum coherence, enabling complex information transfer.
This isn't just mystical concept, right? It's measurable.
It's a measurable phenomenon involving low-level electromagnetic emissions and biophotons, yeah.
And the proposed mechanisms for UAP biofield interaction involve sophisticated forms of resonant frequency matching between UAP energy fields and human biofields,
Resonance.
like tuning forks.
Exactly. This could explain the documented electromagnetic field modulation observed in some encounters, where UAP appear to directly interact with or influence the human energy field, enabling consciousness communication through direct energy transfer.
And the healing effects again. Furthermore, yes, numerous documented biofield healing effects reported in contact experiences suggest that UAP or their technology might be capable of manipulating or enhancing human biofields, potentially leading to profound physical and psychological changes. This points to an incredibly intimate and energetic connection.
So, where does all this fascinating theoretical and anecdotal evidence meet current research and scientific analysis? It's crucial to ground this.
Absolutely. The official government recognition progress on UAP is a key starting point. The Pentagon's All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, AAR, in their 2024 reports, documented 757 new UAP reports.
Okay.
Of those, 292 were resolved to prosaic objects, meaning ordinary things like balloons, drones, or conventional aircraft. But a significant 21 cases still merited further analysis due to displaying anomalous characteristics that defied easy explanation.
21 unexplained, okay.
Yeah.
But what's their bottom line?
Crucially, AOO states that no credible evidence of extraterrestrial technology or non-human intelligence has been discovered to date in their analysis. That's the official word.
Right. Important caveat.
What's important here is ARO's methodological strengths. Systematic data collection from military and intelligence sources, multi-agency coordination, clear case resolution categories, and a stated commitment to transparency.
And NASA's study.
Meanwhile, the NASA UAP Independence Study, a separate civilian scientific effort launched in 2023, also made key recommendations. They emphasized leveraging Earth-observing assets, developing standardized civilian reporting systems, utilizing AI and machine learning, improving sensor calibration for better data, and crucially, reducing the stigma around UAP reporting through robust scientific frameworks.
So both serious but cautious approaches.
Very much so. So despite all the fascinating theories we've discussed, what's the current scientific consensus and skeptical analysis within mainstream science?
It's important to be clear on this. The current consensus indicates that the vast majority of UAP sightings do have prosaic, everyday explanations, misidentified conventional aircraft, drones, balloons, natural phenomena.
Most are explainable.
Most are. A small percentage of UAP reports currently remain unexplained, primarily due to insufficient data quality, not necessarily because they're extraordinary or defy known physics. And critically, according to mainstream scientific review and official government reports, no credible, empirically verifiable evidence for extraterrestrial technology or consciousness-based phenomena exists that withstands rigorous scrutiny. That's the standard scientific position right now. The scientific community emphasizes that improved data collection and rigorous scientific methodology are paramount before drawing extraordinary conclusions. Also, psychological and social factors, cognitive biases, perceptual distortions, cultural influences are acknowledged to significantly influence reporting and interpretation of UAP.
Absolutely. It's important to consider alternative explanations that sit within known physics and psychology for UAP. These include various psychological factors like cognitive biases, our brains filling gaps, perceptual distortions, how light or distance can trick our eyes, social psychology effects, where group belief or media narratives can influence perception.
The power of suggestion.
Right. There are also conventional technological explanations, sensor artifacts, glitches in radar or cameras, misidentified conventional aircraft or drones,
Right.
or atmospheric phenomena like temperature inversions,
And natural phenomena.
and of course natural phenomena. Ball lightning, earthquake lights, those rare luminous phenomena associated with seismic activity meteors, natural plasma effects, or even bioluminescence from living organisms. These mundane explanations often account for a large portion of reports.
This highlights the critical importance of evidence quality assessment in the UAP field. High-quality evidence, which is rare, requires multiple, independent sensor confirmations with calibrated instruments, meaning a UAP should be simultaneously observed by radar, infrared, visual, and other sensors, all of which are properly functioning and calibrated, not just one blurry photo.
Right.
And as a fundamental principle of science, extraordinary claims like advanced tech or non-human intelligence require extraordinary evidence that goes far beyond anecdotal reports or fuzzy videos. It demands robust, repeatable, and verifiable data.
So, after diving into all these intricate scientific and experiential threads, from theoretical physics to consciousness studies and the cutting edge of AI, what does this all mean when we bring it together?
Where do we land?
If we integrate these diverse fields, we can propose a unified UAP consciousness model. The core idea is that UAP phenomena, in their most profound manifestation, represent consciousness interfaces operating through fundamental quantum information fields, resonating with morphic networks, and potentially accessing our reality through interdimensional protocols.
Okay, so that's the synthesis. Consciousness, physics, information,
Yeah.
all linked.
Exactly. Within this integrated model, the primary mechanisms at play are truly mind-altering. We see consciousness-mediated space-time manipulation, where observer effects influence quantum field fluctuations, potentially allowing UAP to appear or disappear based on conscious interaction. There's interdimensional communication via quantum entanglement networks, transcending space-time limitations, enabling instant coordination. AI-facilitated interfaces emerge as crucial technological bridges for stable consciousness technology interactions. And morphic field resonance creates collective consciousness UAP interactions, where shared human thought or archetypes can influence the phenomena.
This truly points towards a profound technology consciousness synthesis, where advanced technology and fundamental consciousness are not separate but interwoven. AI consciousness interfaces would provide the technological bridges for interdimensional communication, potentially through quantum computing enhancement of human consciousness, expanding our cognitive capabilities.
They could facilitate stable portal creation through electromagnetic field manipulation, as suggested by space-time engineering. They enable sophisticated pattern recognition and communication decoding of non-human intelligence signals. And they might even serve as consciousness vessel technology for hosting or interacting with non-physical intelligence.
What's fascinating here is that quantum consciousness amplification, through these sophisticated interfaces, could lead to unprecedented levels of human awareness.
Like what?
We're talking about expanded awareness via quantum computer entanglement, allowing our minds to tap into a wider range of information. This could lead to enhanced telepathic capabilities through quantum information networks, making direct mind-to-mind communication with non-human intelligence possible.
Interdimensional perception.
Interdimensional perception could become possible through consciousness field interfaces, allowing us to perceive beyond our 3D reality. And most provocatively, it suggests reality manipulation capabilities through consciousness matter interaction at quantum levels, where our collective or individual consciousness could subtly influence the physical world.
And this integrated theoretical framework, it has predictive capabilities, right? Allowing us to formulate testable hypotheses for future research.
It should, if it's a good model.
In terms of observable physics, if these UAP are manipulating spacetime, we would predict gravitational anomalies around UAP craft, potentially detectable by precision gravimeters, along with electromagnetic disturbances from exotic matter interactions.
Detectable signatures.
Detectable quantum field fluctuations by sensitive instruments in their proximity. We could even observe localized time dilation effects close to the craft, where time literally slows down or speeds up. And, perhaps, multispectral invisibility through dimensional phase shifting.
And on the consciousness side,
As for consciousness correlations, which provide another avenue for prediction, we would expect to see increased UAP encounters during meditation states or other altered states of consciousness, suggesting a link to human awareness. Enhanced telepathic communication should become more frequent and clearer for individuals who encounter them. Collective consciousness effects, where group meditation or focused intent influences UAP manifestation patterns, could become statistically observable. And finally, detectable biofield changes measurable shifts in the electromagnetic fields around human bodies, enabling UAP detection or interaction through consciousness monitoring.
this brings us to crucial future research directions and their long-term implications. What should we be looking into?
Proposed research would include developing advanced quantum sensors specifically designed to detect the subtle space-time anomalies or quantum field fluctuations predicted by these theories.
Better instruments.
Rigorous monitoring of consciousness states during UAP sightings, perhaps using EEG or fMRI to see if there are direct correlations. Detecting quantum entanglement in UAP witnesses could provide empirical evidence of non-local connections.
That would be groundbreaking.
Conducting morphic field UAP studies would involve testing for resonance patterns and collective influences, and deep biofield interaction research would focus on measuring electromagnetic changes in human biofields during encounters to understand the energetic exchange.
Long-term research directions would encompass developing consciousness-based UAP detection systems responsive to these subtle consciousness fields, creating new forms of detection.
Beyond radar and cameras.
Exactly. It calls for interdisciplinary consciousness UAP studies, combining neuroscience, physics, parapsychology, bridging currently disparate fields. We need the development of robust consciousness matter interaction theories that are testable and falsifiable. And ultimately, creating testable, non-human intelligence models that can be scientifically investigated, moving beyond anecdote to empirical understanding.
The scientific implications of this research, if proven, would be nothing short of a complete paradigm shift, wouldn't they? Fundamentally reshaping our understanding of the universe.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It suggests consciousness is not merely emergent, but fundamental to reality. It points to non-local information transfer as a key UAP communication mechanism. It highlights the potential of quantum effects in biology, enabling consciousness-matter interaction. And it opens the door to information-based intelligence existing without biological
That it's
substrate.
challenging our definition of life itself.
Completely. This raises an important question. What are the technological applications that could arise from such breakthroughs?
Understanding consciousness UAP connections could lead to incredible consciousness responsive technology for detection and communication, allowing for direct interaction.
It could enable quantum consciousness interfaces for enhanced human-AI interaction, creating new forms of intelligence. We might develop non-local communication systems, bypassing electromagnetic limitations for instant communication across vast distances,
And the healing aspect.
and potentially biofield-based healing technologies derived from observing and understanding the subtle biofield manipulation effects reported in UAP interaction.
And the philosophical implications are equally profound. This research challenges our fundamental assumptions about the nature of reality, forcing us to ask whether information or matter is truly fundamental.
It redefines the role of consciousness in physical processes, elevating it from a byproduct to a potential co-creator of reality.
It opens up the mind-boggling possibility of non-biological intelligence, forcing us to expand our definitions of what life and sentience can be.
And it hints at the inherent interconnectedness of all consciousness through quantum information fields, suggesting a unity that transcends individual minds.
From a cosmic perspective, this suggests humanity exists within a much larger consciousness ecology involving non-human intelligence that is already here.
Reality might operate through fundamental consciousness information principles that transcend mere physical matter, making consciousness the primary driver.
Interdimensional communication, rather than being extraordinary, might be a normal phenomenon in a multidimensional cosmos.
And perhaps human consciousness evolution itself may be subtly guided or influenced by advanced non-human intelligence, hinting at a far grander cosmic journey for humanity.
So, after this incredible journey through physics, consciousness, AI, history, what does this all mean for you listening right now?
Yeah, bringing it home.
This deep dive has explored how UAP are not just flying saucers, but potentially a profound interface between human consciousness and non-human intelligence, operating through quantum information fields, interdimensional physics, and AI as a critical bridge.
This convergence creates unprecedented opportunities for us to understand not just these elusive phenomena, but consciousness itself, the very nature of reality, and our true place in a universe that is far stranger and more interconnected than we've ever imagined.
And we've seen how AI stands as a crucial technological bridge for exploring these mind-bending phenomena, potentially expanding human awareness in ways we can barely fathom today,
Hmm.
allowing us to interact with realms and intelligences previously thought impossible.
It really positions AI in a potentially transformative role.
So what does this all mean for you? If consciousness is truly fundamental to the fabric of reality, and if our minds can indeed interface with these phenomena, what limits remain for human potential? And what incredible cosmic conversations might we soon be capable of having?